The Wild West was an era full of rugged cowboys, untamed spirits, and trailblazing pioneers who etched their names into American history. Amidst the legends and lore, one aspect remains mysterious: their hygiene habits. Imagine a world devoid of running water and modern bathrooms, where cleanliness had a whole new meaning. Brace yourself for a journey as we uncover the unsettling yet strangely fascinating practices of hygiene practices that were common not that long ago. Number 1. Liquor-fueled bar fights happened every day. In the realm of Wild West entertainment, the saloon reigned supreme as a haven for cowboys seeking a reprieve from the dusty trails. But the drinks offered within these harsh establishments were far from refined. Whiskey, the drink of choice, had a recipe consisting of scorched sugar, potent alcohol, and even bits of chewing tobacco. This concoction packed a punch like no other, rendering many cowboys rowdy and prone to violence. Number 2. Whiskey, gambling, and brothels were common pastimes. In the untamed frontier of the Wild West, there existed a world of vice and temptation. Cowboys and settlers sought solace from their harsh lives through 3 main outlets: whiskey, gambling, and brothels. Whiskey flowed freely, providing a temporary escape from the challenges they faced. Gambling dens and saloons became hubs of excitement and risk, where fortunes were made and lost in the blink of an eye. And then there were the brothels, catering to the desires of those seeking companionship and pleasure. Number 3. The Wild West's obsession with chewing tobacco and spitting. In the untamed era of the Wild West, chewing tobacco was more than just a gross habit. It served a purpose. Beyond its addictive nature, many individuals turned to chewing tobacco as a means to combat dryness while outside in dusty fields all day. The moisture from the chew provided comfort, keeping their mouths salivated during long hours outdoors. However, this practice came with a pretty disgusting side effect: copious spitting. Number 4. Whiskey was often drank in place of a meal. When we conjure up images of the Wild West, we often envision cowboys feasting on hearty meals around campfires. But the reality of pioneer diets in those rugged times was far from extravagant. In fact, they often ate beans as an entire meal. Another surprising staple found its way onto the menu, and that is whiskey. Sometimes they would drink whiskey as an entire meal. Clearly, taking care of themselves was the least of their worries. Number 5. Unbelievable medicines of the Wild West, from cocaine to aspirin. Hygiene was a luxury, and sickness lurked around every corner during this time. But amidst the filth, pioneers had some surprising remedies up their sleeves. If a cowboy had a toothache and was desperate for relief, there was one solution. Enter cocaine. Yes, you listened that right. In the 1880s, toothache drops. Containing cocaine were all the rage. This powerful substance acted as a local anesthetic, numbing the pain and giving cowboys a temporary respite from dental agony. Number 6. Alcohol was used as a cure for illnesses. With limited access to proper medical care, the pioneers and doctors were few and far between, so pioneers had to get creative when it came to treating their ailments. They turned to unconventional remedies and elixirs in their quest for health and wellness. The lack of sanitation and hygienic standards meant that cleanliness was often neglected. Dust-covered clothes, infrequent bathing, and unkempt appearances were the norm. Alcohol drinks were used as a sedative. It was a time when the pursuit of health clashed with the realities of an unsanitary existence, so drinking various cocktails was considered dealing with an illness. Number 7. Miners faced lung disease from working in dusty mines. In the pursuit of wealth and prosperity during the Wild West era, miners faced perilous conditions that extended beyond treacherous tunnels and back-breaking labor. One of the most significant threats to their health was the constant exposure to airborne respirable dust, a hazard that lurked within the mining environment. The inhalation of these extra-fine particles posed a grave danger, leading to the development of a debilitating lung disease known as pneumoconiosis. Tragically, the risks did not end there. Miners also faced an elevated likelihood of succumbing to lung cancer, further highlighting the dire consequences of their unsanitary working conditions. Number 8. Even churches of this time were crawling with germs. While the Old Mission Church in New Mexico stands as a symbol of rich history and cultural heritage, it holds secrets of unsanitary practices from the past. back in the days of the Wild West, hygiene was often neglected, and the church was no exception. With transitions in ownership and occupations by various groups, the church lacked proper maintenance and sanitation. Dust and dirt settled on its ancient walls, making it a breeding ground for bacteria and allergens. The lack of hygiene standards in those times contributed to the spread of diseases and discomfort for the worshippers. Today, we admire the old mission church as a testament to our history, but let's not forget the unhygienic realities of the past. Number 9. Taking care of emotional health with superstitions and mystical practices. In the unpredictable world of the Wild West, people found solace and comfort through various means, including superstitions and mystical practices. However, these practices existed alongside the harsh realities of limited access to clean water and proper hygiene. With water scarcity and challenging living conditions, unhygienic practices could make people very sick. So how would they deal with it? They would turn to fortune tellers to get a glimpse into their fate and futures. They embraced practices like crystal ball gazing and tarot card readings brought by Romani people from Europe. These traditions offered them a sense of solace and connection amidst the challenges of frontier life. Number 10. The deadly toll of disease in the Wild West. In the Wild West, disease was the leading cause of death among pioneers. Around 9 out of 10 pioneers succumbed to illnesses like dysentery, smallpox, measles, mumps, influenza, cholera, mountain fever, and scurvy. Cholera in particular was the most common and deadly disease. It spread through contaminated water, which was abundant in the unsanitary conditions of the time. Pioneers faced the constant risk of infection and death due to poor hygiene practices and the lack of clean water sources. Staying healthy and avoiding disease was a constant challenge in the unforgiving wilderness of the Wild West. Number 11. How the Wild West embraced hygienic hair care. Personal hygiene practices often took a back seat during this time. Long, unkempt hair became a common sight among pioneers and cowboys, serving as a testament to their journeys. However, as time progressed and awareness grew, a shift occurred. Men began to recognize the importance of proper hair hygiene and the potential risks of neglecting cleanliness. With improved technology and grooming tools, a new trend emerged: the clean-cut look. Men eagerly wielded the shears and razors, bidding farewell to their wild, tangled manes and embracing a more clean and polished appearance for the first time. Number 12. The healing waters of Arkansas were used as a remedy for pioneers' unsanitary practices. In an era where illnesses and unhygienic environments were rampant and medical treatments were scarce, these thermal waters held a mystical power for healing. Picture a time when back pains and inflammations were common ailments. Instead of modern creams and treatments, American and European medical professionals recommended a journey to the hot springs. Pioneers would embark on arduous journeys, traversing thousands of miles to immerse themselves in the therapeutic waters. These natural wonders provided a much-needed break from the hardships of frontier life, while also shedding light on the unsanitary hygiene practices of the time and the strong belief in the healing abilities of these extraordinary springs. Number 13. Transmitted infections were rampant. Desire and danger were intertwined in saloons and brothels. Behind the allure of the painted ladies, a hidden menace lurked: the risk of venereal disease. Shockingly, it's estimated that half of the region's adult entertainers were afflicted with these contagious infections, and the use of hazardous remedies like mercury and boric acid only exacerbated the danger. This meant that transmitted infections among adult entertainers and their customers spread like wildfire. The true extent of the havoc wreaked by venereal diseases remains unclear, as death certificates often concealed the cause of death. The grim reality of the Old West took a toll on the lives of sex workers and their clients, and the harsh realities faced in a society where clean living was a luxury few could afford. Number 14. The therapeutic power of Colorado's thermal springs. While daily showers may not have been the norm, the pioneers found solace in the rejuvenating waters of Colorado's thermal springs. Pagosa Springs stood out as a haven for relaxation and cleanliness among these natural wonders. The pioneers would immerse themselves in the mineral-rich waters, believing in their healing properties. These hot springs became revered not just for their therapeutic benefits, but also as a way to escape the challenges of frontier life. Today, these historic hot springs had transformed into luxurious spas, preserving the legacy of the pioneers' quest for cleanliness and well-being during a time when cleanliness was hard to come by. Number 15, Lysol was used as a cure for many infections. In an era where intimate issues were hushed, one peculiar product took center stage: Lysol. Yes, you read that right. Originally marketed as a household disinfectant, Lysol found an unexpected role in personal hygiene. Women seeking relief from uncomfortable conditions turned to this potent concoction to address feminine concerns. Astonishingly, Lysol was marketed as a cure-all for everything from yeast infections to contraception. Little did they know the harsh chemicals and toxins lurking within Lysol could do more harm than good. It wasn't until later that society realized the dangerous implications of such practices. The Wild West may have been a frontier of adventure, but it wasn't a very pleasant time for those dealing with health issues.